Hi, I'm Laura Lockey, and in this episode of Inside Local Music, we talk to Wolf Girlz, who have recently released an album on Bandcamp. Here they are performing at the Stone Church, a song called Soap Boats.
But our memories, they never change. We can still pretend, try to keep things the same.
welcome, Wolf Girls. We saw you at the Stone Church recently and enjoyed your show and wanted to talk with you all further about the album you just made or released on the 2nd of January. How did you three come together? What's the background of Wolf Girls? How long have you been as a group?
Well, Johnny and I met the first day that I ever got to Vermont.
Yeah.
I got my car stuck in a ravine. What do we call that?
Like a culvert.
Culvert.
It was like stuck in a culvert. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real mess. And
Driving too close to the edge, would you?
yeah, I didn't know that culverts even existed before moving up here.
Very narrow dirt road,
Yeah.
as you can imagine, uphill. Yeah.
It's kind of a New England thing.
Yeah, well, so I learned very quickly, and Johnny helped pull my car out.
Pull it out? Or,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I don't actually know how we managed to get into our old band Petrichor, but we did very quickly perform.
Oh, you were in a band together?
We
prior?
were.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing: is like on that property where you got your car stuck. I was there practicing with another former band of mine, and then we were kind of surrounded by music, and then we had a music festival at that property later in the year.
Yeah.
And Petrichor played before we were in it.
Yeah.
Petrichor was a two-piece with our two friends Charlie and Kath, and so we saw them play, and then we started talking to them afterwards, and we were like, "Oh, let's join the band."
Yeah. There was one day in particular that I was joining, or I was going to join the group, but not officially. I was just trudging along, carrying the gear, just gonna check them out. And then, I don't know, maybe I was singing in my friend's house, and Charlie was so elated about it that they asked me to join the group.
So how long ago is this? Is this a year, 2 years?
2.5 years ago?
2.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's like 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
summer of 23. That
So you
favorite
moved
I
in the
met.
summer of 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did we. Where'd you move from?
Kentucky.
So 2.5 years you've been hanging together and making music and Dagan, you get involved, I guess, at the recording part, right? You're going to need some rhythm in this stuff.
Kind of, sort of. So Johnny played drums in Petrichor.
Right, and he plays drums and
He plays
what
every
does he play
instrument,
now?
Everything.
except for mandolin, apparently.
I didn't touch it. Not yet.
Yeah, so I knew Johnny, and we were neighbors,
Sure.
back around the same time, around 23.
23, 24, we were next door neighbors. Yeah.
Yep. And then, so I met Favor through Johnny through that, and then after Petrichor disbanded, they wanted to keep playing music, and I really liked both your sound, and we kind of talked about maybe jamming a little bit, so we had a couple little early
There you
jam
go.
sessions.
So
Very
on,
kinda
on the porch of
Yeah,
my old
yeah,
place,
yep.
the three of us jammed a few
Yeah.
times.
Very
I
laid
think.
back. I think I
Yeah.
just played snare with brushes or something.
I think I also gave you, maybe I didn't, or maybe I did, but I gave you my recycling bin with a kick pedal on
Yes,
it or whatever.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from that, it led to us being oh, why don't we play a little bit and see how it goes, and everything kind of clicked, and at least as in a trio capacity. And
Yeah.
me and Johnny had played a little bit prior to that, just as a duo, and I think some of those just jams have since morphed into some Wolf Girls songs, at least one or two of them. So that all kind of formulated as Wolf Girls as you know it now in about February, I think, of 25. So
Yeah, almost a year ago.
yeah, just about a year ago.
The songs that you were jamming with then, did they make it through into this album, or have they been superseded by new stuff?
Johnny and I were working on the song that I had written called Lilacs.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's the first track, right? Yeah.
Definitely. And so that has been the longest running song of Wolf Girls.
Uh-huh.
And it was just a two-parter first, an
Yeah.
acoustic originally.
Yeah, I played on acoustic. You were just singing, speaking, maybe even at some points.
Yeah,
And that's how that song started, and that was the first one.
in Johnny's kitchen.
So that was Lilacs, and then I think the rest of the album was really just organically crafted in this space between the three of us.
Mhm.
A lot of it came out of freely jamming
Yeah.
in favor either coming in with vocal melody ideas or just doing things off the cuff.
Right.
And maybe having words written down that maybe
Right.
you would sing
Yeah.
in a certain way based on what we were playing. And we just kind of kept revisiting. We would like we are the type of band where we can just get in a room and start playing music together, and we're like, whoa, we just wrote like 3 new songs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like
Yeah.
in any moment.
Do you record your takes? Your
I
rehearsals?
record everything we do here. So I have a whole Google Drive chock full of stuff, and you could probably see the way that it's like
progression.
Yeah.
that's progressed
Yeah.
over the time. So we really honed in on like really 6 of these, well,
Yeah.
7 of them. Goodnight Moon we kind of dropped off that one.
Yeah, but it's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a
It's a
good
good
We
one.
might bring that one back.
We could bring that one
Yeah.
back, but
And we got like a bunch of just ideas like based on that in that Google Drive that we're gonna start working on here soon and maybe turning into some new material. So
yeah.
that's very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have like probably 1 or 2 like other finished songs
Yeah.
that will be like on the next record. We know we've already thought about like, all right, that's this record, that's the next record, and then what's gonna happen after that is TBD really.
Yeah.
So we really just are able to create and craft in this space together pretty instantaneously.
So the songs come about when you're in here and you're playing together, and you've got some poetry, I guess, that you're thinking you're going to spin against what your ears are picking up.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'll be in my car or walking down the street and I'll have like a little melody going through my head and I'll have to pull out the recorder
Yeah.
and like sing into the mic, which
Yeah.
I always get a little nervous about because people are walking by and I'll
Yeah.
get shy of like, I don't know, strangers hearing me sing on
Do you
the
bring
street.
them into this?
Sometimes.
So then you can figure out what's going on. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes Favor will just start singing a melody, and I'm just like, all right, how do I like what are the roots of that? Like, I'm trying to hear the harmony behind the melody, which I guess is, in my eyes, that's like a backwards process to creating music, but it's a fun challenge at the same time to understand what chords are supposed to go here. And then I play my guitar in an open tuning, so my thumb can kind of be just hitting those chords or those roots, and then my other fingers can be kind of following
Yeah.
Favor's melody, or maybe doing a counter melody or something like that, which has been a lot of fun for sure. And then
It's
Dagan
cool, yeah.
Dagan picks up on the like the subtleties of the
Yeah.
rhythm that I do like instantly.
And it's very unique because I think a lot of bands, might start with either just like lyrics or with bass and drums. A lot of the melody stuff comes from like bass and drums and chords, right? Whereas this, it's like a lot of times I'll just hear Johnny doing something and then I'll like play.
So some riff, and then you figure out where the one beat is.
The rhythm comes from that. Yeah, that's very cool.
And it
So-
locks in instantly with
Yeah.
us, like absolutely.
Yeah, we're on this. We always talk about how we're very much on the same wavelength musically, and we're able to just very easily and very quickly, like, just come up with new stuff.
When you're coming up with lyrics, do you have any favorite poets?
I was just reading Crush by Richard Seiken.
Okay.
And my friend also just gave me a book of poetry by Denise Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that they are true. I mean, I really love reading their work, and I think that they're very inspiring. But I
Yeah.
only have just gotten into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know that I can say that it's coming from a place of like reading a lot of poetry or literature.
Yeah.
But I've always tended to gravitate towards literature that's very fluffy and poetic with their words.
Mhm.
I really love Carmen Maria Machado as a
Mhm.
writer. She's very lovely. I also have read Painting Their Portraits in Winter, and I think that's a very lovely book that's very fluffy and very poetic in its writing.
The lyrics in some of your songs sound like you've been around Vermont for a while. Like, was it just me? The mention of the West River and
Yeah.
things like that?
No, I think I'm just in awe by the beauty of the
And
space.
it is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
And I love Favor's lyrics because they all have like deeper meanings to them too. Like on the surface, you're painting a picture of our region
Yeah.
and navigating your way through that and observing things.
Yeah.
But they have like really like personal subtext to them that are simply done
Some
through
childhood
through
things.
analogy
Yeah.
and metaphor, I think.
Here's Wolf Girls performing Kissing Bridge Blues.
Somehow, we find our way back to each other. The ripple
done a pretty big show at Stone Church. What else is on the calendar for you? What comes along in the next month, 45 days?
Well, we're taking a bit of a break from shows until I think March at this point, which will be nice, I think.
Good idea. The weather is treacherous.
Yeah.
Who wants to drive home in the snow?
We have done it. Or at least Johnny and I
Oh,
have
yeah.
done it.
I think our next show is March 7th at Mount Holyoke College.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a student organization that puts on shows, and that's with our friends in Tisk Tisk Task and Film and Gender.
Uh-huh.
So that will be fun. And then March 20th, I believe, that's a Friday, a couple weeks later, we're playing at Marigold in Brattleboro.
Good.
And that will be also with Film and Gender, which actually was a total coincidence that we got 2 shows with them in 1 month. But if you know Wyatt Andrews,
I know Wyatt.
I wanted Deep Seas to open.
Deep Sea. That's
For
was
us.
Deep Seas on Saturday, right?
Yes, that was Deep Seas on Saturday. And so they were going to play, but Jed, the handpan drummer,
Yeah.
he has another gig that day.
Yeah,
And
I'll
we're
check that
talking about
out.
another show coming up too.
Oh, no, my favorite show. It's going to be on April 18th at Epsilon Spires, which is
that's
my dream venue.
Mhm.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Are you going to be doing more recording as well? Have you gotten kind of momentum from the last batch? Or did you enjoy it, the process of recording?
Oh yeah, I mean I loved it. I think it's also so cool because we just did it all here.
Right.
You know, Johnny is very technically skilled and everything.
Do you do the mixes here as well?
Yeah,
I did all the recording and all the mixing here.
everything but the mastering. Mastering was done by our friend Monty at 1357
Yeah, I
Studios.
saw that. That's where you were with Fool in the World.
Yes,
right?
yeah. So we've been recording our album there as
You
well.
like his place down there?
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, it's state of the art,
Yeah.
professional studio, but
Great.
it also costs a little bit
Yeah.
to record there.
But he keeps it real, and he's
But-
just a
but
good
it's-
guy
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
you know?
It really is a great place to work. But I think for what we were going for, recording it all here was excellent. And came out, I think, like even better than I expected in terms of like the quality of it.
Mhm.
And so as we mentioned earlier, we have a lot of musical ideas like kind of on a drive. So we're gonna start. Probably given that we don't have some shows in the next couple months, we'll be
Use the
kind of-
time to fabricate more.
yeah
We're gonna be writing a lot.
writing and recording some new stuff.
I'm ready to write some new stuff.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited to write. Yeah.
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 You want to push some boundaries, or what are you thinking to do more of
Yes.
the same, or just kind of like
Well, we already
keep
have
moving in the same direction?
we already have a few songs that are in a similar vein, but also feel, I don't know, a little more dynamic or a little more full in some way. Like the songs on The Long Journey Home are very repetitive and very I don't know, slow, hypnotic, and I think we're sort of continuing to do that, but we're like it's getting a little more like storytelling-esque, or it just feels a little more like cinematic, I guess, in a way. So we'll see how those pan out, really. And I think sometimes the song is really fully formed when you're recording and producing it, especially with the 3-piece.
Oh yeah, it can
Because I'm
morph
adding,
into something
because I'm
else.
adding so many
Yeah.
other layers
Yeah.
than just my guitar. I'm adding bass, I'm adding synth, I'm adding like overdubs of other guitar
Right,
parts.
you
and
were
everything.
saying, and I listened to it this morning, and you were saying that you wanted to add synthesizers and stuff. Is that for like kind of pads and stuff?
This band really benefits from a lot of texture
Yeah.
in creating sort of an
Right.
ethereal space.
Right.
And I think the guitar does a pretty good job of that, considering that I'm playing in open tuning and I
Mhm.
like my delay, my reverb, and things like that. But I think synth pads would be really, really nice to add.
Do you
as
miss a
permanent
bass?
fixture.
Give you that low end feel?
You know, I would love to like play with a bassist, but we also don't really terribly need it because again, the open tuning thing, I usually split my signal between a guitar amp and a bass amp when I play live and in this space. So, and I just, I crank
So you
the
got
bass
some
up, I
presence.
EQ my guitar tone. So,
Yeah.
my thumb is really pushing out that, like, 100 to
150
250.
below, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that kind of, that range. And then
Some
like,
cover.
exactly. And then my other fingers are really pushing that, like those mids.
Plus
and
you won't be
everything.
competing with different bass riffs. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm kind of playing the role of multiple instrumentalists in a way. My guitar amp's in the other room, but this is my bass amp right here.
Yeah.
And so this is what my guitar goes into this, and then my guitar goes into a Fender Ultimate Chorus guitar amp,
Yeah.
which is like a knockoff of the Roland Jazz Chorus.
Yeah.
And I love to keep the chorus built in the amp on at all times, because it gives a little bit of warble to the treble, and then the bass stays very, consistent, firm, bassy. And this is getting the full guitar signal, but really you're hearing that low D of the
Yeah.
bass note.
Collectively, what do you call the music?
At least
Um,
at
We
least I
should
did
debate
that.
There's no
it.
good
Yeah.
answer.
No, well,
I
my
have one.
favorite one. Oh, what is yours?
Covered bridgecore,
Yes.
Oh, cute. I like that.
and it means nothing.
Yeah. That's
It's
not a
very,
genre.
very narrow
Yes.
genre.
I also have been toying around with the term post-folk as well.
Post-folk.
Because it's folky in a lot of ways, but it's like past that. It's taking some roots of folk and it's just like turning it into repetitive, building song
Mhm.
structures like post-rock kind of does.
Yeah.
Which I also kind of consider us post-rock in a lot of ways too. I have a lot of influence in
Well,
post-rock.
you got some rocky parts in there, right? With some heavier kind of moment.
Yeah, bar
some
chords and
breaks.
distortion
Yeah.
really is it. That's and those shine in the moments where it needs to shine,
Yeah.
and not more than that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
At least for me, I think my own personal influences, I draw a lot from like Pink Floyd or
Yeah.
something like that. That's got a lot of out there. I call it like out there music, spacey music, that kind of
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Ambient.
Ambient music, yes. I also use the word melodic a lot of times to describe this band. But
That's true, yeah.
yeah.
The vocal melodies are quite distinctive. Yeah,
And I gotta say, like Favor adds such like a jazzy flair
that's
with their
right.
voice too, with the
Yeah.
melodies and like the vibrato in their voice.
Hmm. So you've got shows planned through, I guess, early spring.
a few in the spring.
Do you have any video things that you're gonna do? Because video is such a medium for promoting something.
Well, I have a distinction in my brain between branding yourself through a
Yeah.
video lens and artistically expressing yourself through video.
Mhm.
And I think we would much rather do the latter than the former.
Mhm.
And I think none of us, maybe Dagan excluded, because you are kind of good at playing social media. But
Yeah.
it's not anything. It's not something that either of us or any of us want or
It
like
gets
to
into
do.
that marketing area, which is, slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's going to take you away from this room and get you into other things, which probably aren't as much fun. So on the album, you got six or seven songs on
6.
6 songs, 30 minutes, 45 seconds.
there. Any favorites?
I love Lilacs. What can I say? It's like my first baby.
Mhm.
For me, it was my least favorite song when we started playing it and rehearsing it and recording it, and then ended up becoming my favorite song when it was finished, and that's Half Past Midnight.
Half Past Midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of the spookiest one of the bunch,
Mhm.
I think.
I 100% agree with Johnny. That one was like, maybe kind of like lower ranked for me in terms of
But
all
it
of
came
our
around,
songs.
late finish.
And then
Yeah.
once we recorded it and started listening to it more, I'm like, wow, that might be my favorite one. So
Hmm.
I would say, for me personally, Half Past Midnight is my favorite on the album. However, I think the song that's the best, potentially, if you could say that about any of them, for me at least, is the title track, Long Journey Home. That one
Yeah.
just like is so full in the sound and everything, and just
Yeah.
really like, I think, encompasses and just showcases us.
That's the last track, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Wolf Girl sound.
Yeah, you seem to build into something in
Yeah.
the last track
Yeah.
that's kind of got things from before that are present in this,
It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And then the way that Dagan and I just break it down at the end, I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with so
Yeah.
much. And then when you come in with those low, very detached vocals, like, oh, it sends shivers down my spine.
Yeah.
And Dagan and I are just constantly slowing down and slowing down and slowing
Yes.
down the whole time. And
And
it's
then
just
we
like,
do that even more when we play it live. We
We
just
do.
add another
We
one.
really
No, I
It's
started
really
doing it. I'm
ridiculous.
saying, when are they going to end?
we just keep looking at each other like, another one? Yeah. Oh, I just love
Again,
it
but
so
even
much.
slower now.
Yeah,
I
it's
do think on
so
that
fun.
one, it's one of my favorite lyrics. Like, I don't know. I think it's the most well written.
Mhm.
I think the lyrics really follow the music
Mhm.
in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
Of this journey, this really frantic journey home in this storm or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then at the end, it's just everything like kind of stops in a way.
Yeah.
The end, you pull into your driveway safely.
Yeah.
I start driving in a whiteout too, right? That's like I guess it's just common in these parts, right? Everyone at some point has Wow. White Knuckle Ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my first whiteout a couple years ago. We were playing at Swirl together. I was just actually telling the story about this to Johnny because I had a crazy migraine that night too. But drove in whiteout conditions for the first time in my life, and I like drifted my car, did a 180. I was like so baffled by the conditions I was finding myself in because
Yeah.
it was a new experience for me, and I felt like I really needed to write about it.
Yeah.
I think just to add one more song to the mix here, I think the crowd favorite is the song Soap Boats. And
Yeah.
I think it's maybe the most palatable of the bunch.
Mhm.
And it's like it's my grandma's favorite song, and I think a lot of people who aren't into like some of the darker stuff we do or more spookier stuff,
Yeah.
or the more atmospheric
Yeah.
or ethereal stuff we do can really attach themselves to that song because it's about like childhood nostalgia in a lot of ways, and it's bouncy and I like it a lot. And it's like probably the hardest one for us to play just because
It's true.
That's
it's
biggest
the one
challenge.
that we've written out the most. A lot of the songs on the album are just like we vibe it out and we just kind of know what's going to happen. But Soap Boats was very much like, all right, it's this many bars until the
Composed.
chorus, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's very arranged and composed in a way.
I have to count. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But like we don't have to do that with like any other song. We just know
Yeah.
the other ones.
Yeah.
So you got some more recordings going on in here probably? You're going to work through some more stuff and...
I think we probably won't really record much besides just me setting up my Zoom recorder in the corner of the room and recording a rehearsal. But I think we're just gonna have fun and play music. Like the recording process can be stressful in a lot of ways, especially considering like I am fully setting up and breaking down an entire live recording setup every single night, and it was like
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 nights, and that's a lot of work. I was here for hours, many hours just doing that. It's exhausting, and these guys were huge helps, and they learned as we went of like where things need to go and how
Yeah.
to do it, which was very helpful. But damn, I just want
It's a lot
to
of
freely play music with these guys and just have fun with it right now
Yeah.
in this like moment of time.
Mhm.
I would agree. I think recording was not my favorite process.
I feel like and it's so funny because we haven't really even talked about this like planning just together, so we're kind of
Yeah.
doing this live. But I think like the idea would probably be that once we won't record like the next album per se until we have like another handful of songs like ready to go that we feel really tight about.
Mhm.
Probably
Right.
at least another 6 or 7. That's like okay, we feel really good about these and we've played them and. Done them at shows and stuff, and okay, now we can maybe think
Work
about
it out.
recording some of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think I just want to have fun right now and like write new things,
Yeah, definitely.
jam out a few times. I don't know, get curious, get weird.
I fully agree.
I think that's an awesome plan,
Mhm.
for sure.
Here's Wolf Girls with their final song, The Long Journey Home.